Get on in here, get on in here. Get on in here. Let's see. We're live right now. Get on in here. You have now reached the Leylo Show. Gonna do a quick one today. I got a couple things I gotta do. Gotta get out the way, so gonna make this one a little quick. So apparently, Zelensky showed up at the White House for a meeting. If you don't know who Zelensky is, he is the Ukrainian president who is currently at war with Russia. And apparently, he came to Trump to ask him for some more money so he can continue his war. And, well, we ain't gonna talk about it. Let's just get into it.
All right, so let's see what you think about this. This was said recently. President Trump is being played by Russian President Vladimir Putin. So says President Trump's former National Security Advisor, Lieutenant General H.R. McMaster, in an interview.
Hey, before we go any further, please hit that like and subscribe button. Hey, we need that so we can get these numbers up. I got things I got to do. Y'all want to keep getting this content, you know, all these lives, and you want me to keep updating you with what's going on and in the news and in the streets. Hey, I need you to hit that like, subscribe button ASAP. Share the live. You feel me? Touch my cash app too. Let's go.
It was Scott Pelley. Here's a part of that.
Vladimir Putin couldn't be happier, Scott, because what he sees is all of the pressure on Zelensky, all of the pressure on Ukraine, and no pressure on him.
The allies look at the video and see what?
What they see is something that's just confounding, a discussion that doesn't reflect the reality of the war in Ukraine, the degree to which this war is a crime against humanity.
Dramatic shouting match at the Oval Office in which so many Ukrainian hearers have told us that they were speechless when they saw it, many of them describing it as a, quote, ambush. But in saying all of that, many Ukrainians we've been speaking to have also said that they are grateful for the U.S. They are grateful for American support, and that they will keep fighting, but they want to keep fighting knowing that they have American support, knowing that President Zelensky and President Trump are working together to try to end this war, a war which has changed the lives of so many Ukrainians. Back to you.
Okay. Now, let's
the United States of America, and for the good of...
Let's get into the actual interview. Let's see what happened.
The world.
Or, not interview, but meeting.
I'm aligned with the world, and I want to get this thing over with. You see the hatred he's got for Putin. It's very tough for me to make a deal with that kind of hate. He's got tremendous hatred, and I understand that, but I can tell you the other side isn't exactly in love with, you know, him either. So it's not a question of alignment. I'm aligned with the world. I want to get the thing set. I'm aligned with Europe. I want to see if we can get this thing done. You want me to be tough? I could be tougher than any human being you've ever seen. I'd be so tough. But you're never going to get a deal that way. So that's the way it goes. All right, one more question.
Hey, I want to respond to this. So look, for 4 years in the United States of America, we had a president who stood up at press conferences and talked tough about Vladimir Putin, and then Putin invaded Ukraine and destroyed a significant chunk of the country. The path to peace and the path to prosperity is maybe engaging in diplomacy. We tried the pathway of Joe Biden of thumping our chest and pretending that the President of the United States' words mattered more than the President of the United States' actions. What makes America a good country is America engaging in diplomacy. That's what President Trump is doing.
Can I ask you?
Sure.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So
They say J.D. Vance was a dog on here. They say J.D. from the hood. We're gonna look up and see where JD from. Let's see what's going on.
he occupied our parts, big parts of Ukraine, part of East and Crimea. So he occupied it on 2014. So during a lot of years, so I'm not speaking about just Biden, but those time was Obama, then President Obama, then President Trump, then President Biden, now the President Trump, and God bless, now President Trump will stop him. But during 2014, nobody stopped him. He just occupied and took. He killed people. You know what the contact line?
2015.
2014.
2014 and 2015.
2014.
Yeah. So
I was,
he killed.
I was not here.
Yeah, but
That's exactly
but-
right.
Yes, but during 2014 till 2022, yeah, the situation the same. The people are been dying on the contact line. Nobody stopped him. You know that we had conversations with him, a lot of conversation, my bilateral conversation, and we signed with him. Me, like a new president, in 2019, I signed with him the deal. I signed with him, Macron and Merkel. We signed ceasefire. Ceasefire. All of them told me that he will never go. We signed with him with gas contract. Gas contract. Yes, but after that, he broken this ceasefire. He killed our people and he didn't exchange prisoners. We signed the exchange of prisoners, but he didn't do it. What kind of diplomacy, JD, you are speaking about? What?
But at the end of the day, Zelensky, like, I get it. We have deals with the UN, and we really supposed to help y'all, but that really ain't got nothing to do with us, you know. But we're gonna keep going. See what he's talking about.
What do you mean?
I'm talking about the kind of diplomacy that's going to end the destruction of your country.
Yes, but if you are
Mr.
not
President,
strong-
Mr. President, with respect, I think it's disrespectful for you to come into the Oval Office and try to litigate this in front of the American media. Right now, you guys are going around.
JD getting in his body. JD getting in his body. Okay, JD, let's see what you're talking about, man.
And forcing conscripts to the front lines because you have manpower problems. You should be thanking the president for trying to bring it into this conflict.
Have you ever been to Ukraine that you say what problems we have?
I have been to.
Come once.
I've actually watched and seen the stories, and I know what happens is you bring them on a propaganda tour, Mr. President. Do you disagree that you've had problems? Bringing people into your military?
We have
And
problems.
do you think that it's
I will
respectful
answer.
to come to the Oval Office
I
of the
will
United
answer.
States of America and attack the administration that is trying to prevent the destruction of your country?
A lot of questions. Let's start from the beginning.
Sure.
First of all, during the war, everybody has problems. Even you, but you have nice ocean and don't feel now, but you will feel it in the future. God,
Wait a minute. What does that mean? Hold on. Let me see what he just say.
and don't feel now, but you will, during the war, everybody has problems. Even you, but you have nice ocean and don't feel now, but you.
We have nice ocean. What does that mean? Can anybody put in the comments and tell me exactly what that means? We have nice oceans. Cause I'm confused. I don't know what that means.
You will feel it in the future. God bless.
You don't know that.
God bless.
You don't
God
know that.
bless. You
Don't-
will not have
gotta-
a war.
Don't tell us what we're going to feel. We're trying to solve a problem.
Look, Trump said, "Don't tell us, man. Who you talking to?" Yeah.
God bless.
You don't know that.
God bless.
You don't
God
know that.
bless. You
Don't-
will not have
gotta-
a war.
Don't tell us what we're going to feel. We're trying to solve a problem. Don't tell us what we're going to feel.
I'm not telling you.
Because you're in no position to dictate that.
That's exactly what
You're in no position to dictate what solve a problem.
don't tell us
what we're going to feel.
I'm not telling you.
Because
I'm
you're in no
answering on this
position to
question.
dictate that.
That's exactly
Remember
what
this.
you're doing.
I'm not
You're
dictating.
in no position to dictate what we're going to feel.
You
We're
will-
going to feel very
you will
good.
feel influence.
We're going to feel
I'm-
very
I'm
good and
telling
very
you,
strong.
You will feel influence.
You're right now not in a very good position. You've allowed
From the
yourself
very-
to be in a
from
very
the very
bad position,
beginning
and
of
he
the
happens
war.
to be right about
From the
it.
very beginning.
See, this is the thing. You coming to us asking for money to help you fight a war that you can't win. Russia's military is way more impactful and larger than the Ukrainian military. Let's just be realistic. Like, Russia has technology out of this world. I don't care how much we help you unless we just send our own forces in there to help you. You're not going to win that war. Sorry. Or whatever.
Beginning of the war.
You're not in a good position. You don't have the cards right now. With us, you start having
not
cards.
playing cards.
Right now, you don't.
I'm very
You're playing
serious,
cards.
Mr. President.
You're
I'm
playing
very
cards.
serious.
You're
I'm
gambling
the
with the
president
lives
in
of
war.
millions of people.
You think
You're
you-
gambling with World War III.
what you're
You're
speaking
gambling
about?
with
What you're
World
speaking
War
about?
III. And what you do.
Now that's big right there. Trump said you are gambling with World War III, meaning you want to keep going to war and you want us to fund you. Do you realize that that's going to put us in a World War III position? So we not giving you that money because we not trying to go to World War III. You're going to bow down to Russia. You don't have to give up your property, you know, or your land or whatever it is they're trying to take from you. But you're going to bow down and end this war. Y'all going to stop knocking each other off. We going to start giving you money, and you just going to sit down, and you're going to be all right. We going to help you rebuild whatever it is y'all done lost. That's what's going on right now. But you're trying to incite, basically, a World War III, and Trump saying we ain't finna do that. Either you going to bow down, or we going to take you out, too. Yeah.
Doing is very disrespectful to the country, this country. That's
with
back
all
to
respect to
you.
your
Far
country.
more than a lot of people said
very
they
respect.
should have.
Have you said thank you once this
A lot
entire
of
meeting?
times.
No, in this
Even
entire meeting,
today.
have you said thank
Even
you?
today.
You went to Pennsylvania and campaigned for the opposition in October. Offer some words of appreciation for the United States
what
of
you're speaking
America
about?
and the president who's trying to save your country.
Please, you think that if you will speak very loudly about the war, you
He's
can...
not speaking loudly. He's not
Yeah.
speaking loudly. Your country's in big trouble.
Can I
Wait a
answer?
minute. No.
Can
You've
I
done a lot
answer?
of talking.
Look, hey, you've done a lot of talking. Shut the fuck up. So I'm saying, man, shut your ass up. Hey, listen, man. You in our house right now. Shut up.
Your country is in big trouble.
I know.
You're not winning.
I know loudly about the war. You
He's
can...
not speaking loudly. He's not
Yeah.
speaking loudly. Your country's
Can I-
in big
can I-
trouble.
can I
Wait a
answer?
minute. No.
Can
You've
I
done a lot
answer?
of talking.
Yeah,
Your
no, shut
country
the fuck
is
up,
in
man.
big trouble.
I know.
You're not
I
winning.
know.
You're not winning this. You have a damn good chance of
we are
coming out
staying,
okay because of
Mr.
us.
President, we are staying in our country, staying strong from the very beginning of the war. We've been alone, and we are thankful. I said thanks
You haven't
in
been
this
alone.
cabinet,
You
and
haven't
not
been
only
alone.
in this
We
cabinet.
gave
How have you been alone if we giving you money and weapons to fight your war? How you been alone? What are you talking about?
you through
I
this
said
stupid
thank you.
president $350 billion.
You voted
we gave
for
you
your
military equipment.
You
and
voted-
you,
I
this
said thank
stupid
you.
president, $350 billion.
You voted.
$350 billion to your country and you still fighting it? Yeah, my boy. Yeah. We ain't getting no more money. What I don't understand is how are we still in debt and we still giving money to other countries to fight wars? That don't make sense to me. Somebody make that make sense. Because the math ain't mathing.
We
Voted
gave
for
you
your
military equipment,
You
and you
voted
men
for
are
your
brave,
president.
but they had to use our military.
What about we are
If
speaking?
you didn't have
You
our
invited
military
me-
equipment,
you invited
if
me
you
to
didn't
speak.
have our military equipment, this war would have been over in 2 weeks.
In 3
okay?
days, I heard it from Putin. In 3 days, this is something
Maybe
new.
less.
In 2 weeks, of course, yes.
It's going to be a very hard thing to do business like this. I
Again,
tell you.
just say thank you.
I said a lot of times thank you to American people.
Accept that there are disagreements, and let's go litigate those disagreements rather than trying to fight it out in the American media when you're wrong. We know that you're wrong.
But you see, I think it's good for the American people to see what's going on.
I understand, sir.
I think it's
I
very
understand.
important. That's why I kept this going so long. You have to be thankful. You don't have the
I'm
cards.
thankful.
You're buried there. Your people are dying.
tell you
You're
again,
running low
I
on
know.
soldiers.
Don't-
Listen,
don't please,
you're running
Mr.
low
President.
on soldiers. It would be a damn good thing.
Mr.
And then
President.
then you tell us, I don't want a ceasefire. I don't want a ceasefire. I want to go and I wanted this. Look, If you could get a ceasefire right now, I tell you, you take it so the bullets stop flying and your men stop getting killed.
Of course, we want to stop the war.
But you're saying you don't want a ceasefire.
But I said to you,
I want a ceasefire.
with guarantees.
Because you'll get a ceasefire faster than an agreement.
Ask our people about ceasefire, what they think.
That wasn't
it doesn't
with
matter
me.
for you what,
that wasn't with me.
means.
That was with
you.
a guy named Biden who was not a smart person.
This
That
is-
was.
Hey man, Trump stay shooting them shots, man. Trump don't get no, but he don't get no.
That was with Obama.
It was your president.
Excuse me. That was with Obama, who gave you sheets, and I gave you javelins.
Yes.
I gave you the javelins to take out all those tanks. Obama gave you sheets. In fact, the statement is Obama gave sheets and Trump gave javelins. You got to be more thankful, because let me tell you, you don't have the cards. With us, you have the cards. But without us, you don't have any cards.
One more question, Mr. Vice President. I'm sorry.
It's going to be a tough deal to make, because the attitudes have to change.
What if Russia breaks ceasefire? What if Russia breaks peace talks? What do we do then? I understand that it's a heated conversation right now.
What are you saying?
She's asking, what if Russia breaks the ceasefire?
What if anything? What if a bomb drops on your head right now? Okay? What if they broke it? I don't know. They broke it with Biden because Biden, they didn't respect him. They didn't respect Obama. They respect me. Let me tell you, Putin went through a hell of a lot with me. He went through a phony witch hunt where they used him and Russia. Russia. You ever hear of that deal? That was a phony Hunter Biden, Joe Biden scam. Hillary Clinton, Shifty Adam Schiff. It was a Democrat scam. And he had to go through that. And he did go through it. We didn't end up in a war. And he went through it. He was accused of all that stuff. He had nothing to do with it. It came out of Hunter Biden's bathroom. It came out of Hunter Biden's bedroom. It was disgusting. And then they said, oh, the laptop from hell was made by Russia. The 51 agents. The whole thing was a scam. And he had to put up with that. He was being accused of all that stuff. All I can say is this. He might have broken deals with Obama and Bush, and he might have broken them with Biden. He did, maybe. Maybe he didn't. I don't know what happened. But he didn't break them with me. He wants to make a deal. I don't know if you can make a deal. The problem is, I've empowered you to be a tough guy. And I don't think you'd be a tough guy without the United States. And your people are very brave. But you're either going to make a deal or we're out. And if we're out, you'll fight it out. I don't think it's going to be pretty.
Okay, so let's see what happens after when he was actually kicked out of the White House.
Back to the White House, Jackie Heinrich has some new information for us. Jackie.
Yeah, I just went up to the press area to get an understanding of what we're watching. This is what I was told. The president has kicked Zelensky out of the White House. His delegation right now is telling him that he's got to go home. The president felt disrespected.
Wow. They literally said that Trump kicked Zelensky out of the White House. That's crazy work.
Zelensky out of the White House. His delegation right now is telling him that he's got to go home. The president felt disrespected. Officials in the room felt that beyond the language barrier that we've heard some discussion about, Zelensky's body language, shrugging and eye rolling, was ungrateful, disrespectful, and the president feels that Zelensky is not ready for peace and he can come back when he's ready to talk about peace, but he's not in that position right now, and Zelensky is being told he's got to go. The lunch that they were supposed to have is sitting right outside the hallway, and the press staffers are going to.
The lunch is sitting in the hallway. They left the lunch in the hallway and said he ain't finna eat that, man. He gonna go on the plane hungry. Hey man, Trump and Vance, they a cold piece of work, man. They're a hell of a team. They're like a wrestling team.
Be eating that lunch. This is really pretty incredible. We see the
Jackie,
SUV,
hang on with us one
Zelensky's
moment.
SUV.
If you look to your left, you're going to see him. Let's watch.
Mr. President,
That's him getting kicked out.
is the deal off? President Zelensky, can you tell us what happened?
Valkoiselta talolta äsken saimme tietää, että mineraalisopimuksen allekirjoittaminen peruttiin kokonaan ja Zelenski juuri astui sisään autoonsa. Sadat toimittajat.
Did you sign the minerals deal? Did you sign the minerals deal?
Why were you so disrespectful to the president?
We may be watching the floor fall through this moment in international relations and diplomacy, or this might be the art of the deal, and we're not going to know for some time. Jackie, it appears that even going into this meeting that this relationship was not great. About a week ago, President Trump called Zelensky a dictator. He was asked about that yesterday with the British Prime Minister, and he said, "Did I say that?" Next question. As if he wanted to brush that off and make sure that things today went smoother.
Well, Zelensky, we're told, was begging to stay and work this out. The Ukrainians were begging the president and the White House to continue talking. The president's having none of it. He felt that Zelensky's just not ready for peace, and this deal was not signed. There is no signing. There will be no joint press conference. The next time we're going to see the president is at departure. There he goes right behind me. Zelensky on his way out of the White House gate. No deal signed, no joint press conference, tension.
Listen. They left Zelensky hungry, man. That's crazy. They had the food out there waiting on them and everything. They said, nah, my boy. We ain't finna do that. You finna get on up out of here. That's crazy work. So yeah, man, I don't know, man. This is a weird situation because I mean, Trump is different. So
We see the
Jackie,
SUV,
hang on with us one
Zelensky's
moment.
SUV.
If you look to your left, you're going to see.
Yeah, this is
Zelensky's
one moment. If you
SUV.
look to your left, you're going to see.
Zelensky is being escorted out of the White House so he can be sent on a plane hungry with no money. I hope he don't go home and want to declare war with us. Because you tripping, my boy. Yeah. All right, so yeah. Let's see what else is going on out here, man. Trying to do some catching up. Oh yeah, the
4L click call.
Oh yeah, I want to get into this.
What drives an entrepreneur to create?
Yeah, I'm going to get into this because this is something that my people need to know out here in the streets, especially Atlanta. For y'all that don't know, you know, I'm born and raised in Atlanta. So, yeah. All right, so what we're about to get into here is some education, right? For those who don't know this, right? People that don't know this are, listen, there's a lot of podcasts, right, out here. And one in particular, you know, let's say DJ Academics, right? So DJ Academics, he goes through and he investigates a lot of crimes and things of that nature, and he uses, you know, pretty much the information that's already out there, you know, and you know, people put names on them and call them the police, and you know, you got DJ Vlad, you know, calling the police. I've been watching these cats for years, you know, and I ain't gonna lie, you know, I get a lot of sauce from them, you know what I mean? So, you know, kudos to them for real. But there are actually some real police ass podcasts out here. And I'm gonna tell you how to spot them. I'm finna give you some free game on how to spot these the real police podcasts. Like, they've been doing podcasts way before, you know, all of these other podcasts have been popping up. And trust me, I know. But this is how you spot them. They have, first of all, it'd be no face podcasts. Like, meaning, like, they don't have a face on it. They don't have a name attached to it. It's just a page and a company. Like, this particular one is called, I think it's called Trap TV. Trap TV, that's the name of this podcast, Trap TV, right? Here's the page down here. Yeah, I'm subscribed to it and it's got 132,000 views on this video they put up about 8 days ago about the death of Lil Marlo. And for those who don't know who Lil Marlo is, you know, he's affiliated with a couple of rap groups here in Atlanta, you know, and one in particular, Lil Baby. And we all know what's going on with Lil Baby and his little situation. We might get into that a little later. But right now we're going to talk about these podcasts. Trap TV. Now, I'm convinced, and I may be wrong, but I'm convinced that Trap TV is a real official police-ass podcast. And when I say official police podcast, I mean the police actually run this. And this is how I know, all right? Because they have certain information that only they could get from either an informant, which is somebody inside of their circle, or they get it from detectives who are actually doing the homework and finding things out. Let's start out. Let's see what they're talking about.
People wanted to link Baby Drill to a different murder, and that's the Lil Marlo murder.
We ain't even gotta get out and shoot. Y'all ain't got any start bitching. I don't even promote that, but they got to talk.
And they got the music playing in the background. You know, you're not supposed to be playing any music on a YouTube thing or situation. You know, because they're gonna flag you, and you know they probably gonna flag mine. You know what I mean? And then you ain't gonna get no money. So we gonna see what happens.
It's a difference when it's like right there, you experiencing the shit like it's like a battle.
Yeah, see, they know how to put the music in there. Like, this is done professionally. Like, I'm in film industry, right? So I know when something has been paid for. Like, people actually put in some real work to get this video done. This is like documentary style, you know, with the music and, you know, everything else. And in order for this to be effective, you got to have professionals on this. All right?
All right, I'm worth 50 million. I ain't finna let none of y'all niggas, dusty niggas, kill me.
Listen, they just playing. I'm not finna keep playing the music like that. We just gonna wait until they get into, you know, the commentary. And if you listen to the commentary, it's AI generated commentary. So they're really.
They're shooting.
You the one who brought drill to Atlanta.
I did. Big boy shit, man. Get it out, man. Fuck around there, man. On Pete.
Perhaps the shooter didn't realize is that there's a surveillance camera right over there.
Listen, they got news clippings. They got, you know, they got videos that some of us ain't never seen yet.
I woke back up, he was still shooting. Man shot over 30 rounds. He killed his mama too.
Man, they got interviews, like I said, they got interviews ain't nobody seen yet, but this is interesting. Look at these graphics. This ain't nothing you just do on your phone, on Canva, or something like that. This is, you know, you have to have, you know, the proper programming to create this stuff, and nobody's gonna do this unless they're getting paid to do it. So I personally think they have like an inside team of people who actually do podcasts, you know, and and they make streaming videos, and especially with AI in effect now. But anyway, let's see.
30-year-old Rudolph Johnson, better known as Lil Marlowe, was driving his car along Atlanta's Y-285 interstate near Benjamin E. Mays before another vehicle pulled along and began opening fire, killing him.
Several in the hip-hop community have taken to social.
And ain't this the guy from the, what is that? The gangs of what was the name of that show? Somebody tell me in the comments. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Ain't this the guy from that? Gangland. Ain't that the guy?
Social media to offer their condolences.
His death would reach headlines, bringing eyes all around the world to the side of Atlanta the media doesn't show you. But what outsiders don't know is that Marlowe's death would be a tragedy that would spark a deadly wave of gang violence in both the streets and Atlanta's music scene. It is the murder that sparked all the wars in the city.
Now, just that comment alone is the death that sparked wars in the city. How do you know that? Like, I'm from Atlanta, and I'm attached to the streets, but some of this stuff I don't even know. And I'm attached to some of these people that, you know, I know some of these people.
Atlanta, it is the most populous city in the state of Georgia. But you can't ever.
Yeah. Ain't this is gangland.
We still out here, they ain't stopping. They ain't gonna never stop that.
Pushed to the brink of extinction.
The Hidden Valley Kings had the potential to be some of the largest money makers in the city of Charlotte.
But you can't ever really kill a king.
Kings ain't dead, we still kings, you hear me? And we still out here, they ain't stopping.
It is rapidly becoming one of the biggest cities of the South, being commonly known as America's hip-hop city and the Black Hollywood. It is the birthplace of rap's signature trap sound, made infamous by figures hailing from the east side and Zone 6 side of the city like Gucci Mane, Waka Flocka Flame, and Jeezy. And while many tales have been told of the newer generation hailing from Atlanta, such as the player style associated with Rich Homie Quan and Lil Baby, or the now infamous Atlanta drill scene with figures like Baby Kia and Anti the Menace, there are many legends surrounding the old Atlanta that aren't discussed in mainstream media. And to understand a story like this, I must first take you back to those times. Simpler times, before niggas started moving here and kicking us out our hoods, making rent high as fuck.
Like, this is a real documentary, man. This is crazy. Then that's the old Atlanta. That's the old Fulton County Stadium right there. This is old. That's old. That's like the 80s.
I feel like the new generation don't know the old Atlanta. They really don't know it like that. They may have heard from it, like from some of their homeboys, the older OGs in the hood, big homies of the hood, you know what I'm saying, or their uncles and fathers, but they don't really know, you know what I'm saying.
In the 80s, Atlanta was like most other big southern metro cities like Memphis, Baton Rouge, or Birmingham. Big enough for economic potential, but small enough that everyone knew each other.
Why did Amazon send me $20,000?
Yeah, this is that's real big. Like I said, man, these people police, because they know everything. They got a whole documentary about everybody and everything that's going on in the city, and they know more than people in the city actually know. And that's how I know that these are police-driven podcasts. You know.
African Americans were just coming off the second wave of the Great Migration and would take over lots of southern cities and make them home for generations to come. Atlanta at the time was sprawling of affordable public housings and cheap homes for poor families. And by this time, most of the neighborhoods in the inner city were majority black. The crack cocaine epidemic affected most areas in poverty in multiple cities. This introduced small-time dealers and robbers in the inner city of Atlanta, which would begin its small dose of crime. It wasn't until by 1986 where a gang of big-time drug dealers known as the Miami Boys began moving from southern Florida and started setting up shop in nearby northern cities. Atlanta was one of those cities.
They talking about the Miami boys?
Many of the projects, a lot.
Man, the Miami boy, that was a big deal, a big situation I was around in.
Claiming hoods and territories.
Hey, stop what you're doing, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and the notification bell, man, because I'm going in. Y'all tap in with me now. It's the Leylo Show.
And I went to Atlanta, Georgia. During that time, there wasn't too many people doing nothing. And they say I had a chance to go to Orlando or Tallahassee. So I say I'm going to Atlanta. Well, I'm one of the original. We come out of John Hope, off Boulevard.
I mean, how did that come up? Because a lot of people don't know about the Miami boys.
Yeah, shit, that
they
come
were getting money in Atlanta?
Yeah, we would get money in Atlanta, where I know from, and we was taking their girls, and that's where the dudes from Fulton County.
It's always a female that started off, you know.
They didn't like niggas from Florida because, especially the Miami boy, because everything they had was whack and we were taking all their girls.
The Miami boys' influence over the city would be so big that an entire generation would witness and endure this influx of violent gang violence over drugs and turf. More drugs began surfacing around, new weapons, then new gangs formed, who would be the OGs of these infamous projects for generations to come. These projects would include the likes of Grady Homes, John Hopes, Perry Homes, Bankhead. It's a hood
Rest in peace, Shawty Low. Rest in peace, the boy home.
Made famous by plenty of other rappers and notable figures showing love and shouting out the projects like Bankhead's T.I. and many more.
I was born on the east side of Atlanta, and I was raised on the west side of Atlanta. So I got the chance to experience both sides.
Parlay, shout out to Parlay.
Probably, well, I can't say probably, it is the hardest projects in East Atlanta was East Lake Meadows.
Now, East Lake Meadows, they call it Little Vietnam, right? I didn't live in East Lake Meadows, but I stayed maybe a mile down the road. So that means I used to visit East Lake Meadows a lot because I went to school with a lot of cats from East Lake Meadows. You know, I had a lot of friends there. I had family living there. So back in the 90s, you know, back then, in the late 80s, I visited East Lake Meadows a lot, and everything they say about East Lake Meadows is the truth. Of course, at the time, I didn't know, you know, I'm just, you know, it was just a regular apartment to me, you know. This is where I went to go get my green. You know, and if I had a little sack I wanted to get off real quick, you know, I had a partner over there, I had an uncle over there, I can go over there and just sit down and, you know, get my little sack off real quick. So yeah, East Lake Meadow, that was the spot.
You know what I'm saying? I got a chance to grow up over there. Leaving from there, I ended up moving to Bourne Home on the west side. And Bourne Home is probably the worstest projects on the west side. You see what I'm saying? Respectfully.
The Bowen Court projects would be one of the hoods immortalized in Atlanta's lore, and it would also be the stomping grounds for a young Lil Marlowe growing up in the streets of Atlanta before they were ultimately destroyed like the rest.
I dare you to let me...
Yeah, you know, East Lake Meadows was destroyed back then, not too long ago, maybe 10 years ago, but they rebuilt it. So it's just updated, you know. They didn't... Yeah, it's just updated. them boys still live over there. Recipes, Marlo.
Rudolph Simmons Johnson, also known as Marlowe or Rude, was born May the 1st in 1990 in Atlanta to two average parents trying to make amends in one of the city's most notorious ghettos, Bankhead. Bankhead is located on the city's west side and is in the city's borders of Zone 1, the first out of 6 zones to make up the Atlanta PD's patrol routes. Bankhead at the time would home some of the most dangerous projects in this era of the city, and arguably still does. This is where Marlowe would spend his time growing up, as Bankhead was the neighborhood of the Bowen Homes projects until 2009. Not much is known about Marlowe's early life, but in various interviews he goes in depth into his early childhood and how the streets seemingly chose him from a very young age.
Like, how do they know all of this stuff?
In the projects, young, wild. You know, I caught early though. I learned how to, like, I was ahead of like people my age. Like, I used to go hang with all the older people from the hood, get out of the game, soak the game up, come back, run the game on the young nigga. So I was fast. I started getting money early. I started moving different early. It was hard, but I made it easy for me. I learned the game early.
Being from
I know they got the interviews, but they putting two and two together too quick.
in a car crash in 2016. If you're from the city, then you know how connected the West Side really is. This would make Marlo already be tied in with the likes figures like Lil Baby and other gangsters and notorious sets in the area since a little kid. Marlo would self-admittedly be 1 foot in the streets and 1 foot in school. And by the time he reached the 9th grade, he would completely drop out of school as he began focusing and getting money in the streets. This would be around the time he would begin to get affiliated with the infamous Goodfellas mob gang, one of the most notorious crews in the city. And they would also be the crew that would allegedly lead to his demise.
How you know that, though?
Goodfellas gang dates back to the mid-2000s, during the peak of Atlanta's signature old trap era. GF, also known as Mob and 10L, which means 10 letters standing for Goodfellas, formed in the Fulton County Jail, also known as Rice Street, as a protection group against other inmates, which gradually shifted to means of intimidation and other extortion tactics. The creator of the gang is unknown, being something commonly argued upon in the city. But it is to state that the gang obviously draws inspiration from notorious Italian mafias and drawing direct inspiration for their name from the 1980s crime thriller Goodfellas.
Like I said, man, I know some of these cats personally.
Set leaders or
I know a lot of these cats personally. And these people on this page, this police page, in my opinion, they know way more than I know. And I know these cats.
Most brutal jails, sometimes being referred to as one of the worst jails in the country, with living conditions being deemed overcrowded, understaffed, and a nightmarish domain for inmates, with a high number of stabbings and violence happening within the very walls.
Our target today is going to be 6 north, 300 and 400.
This is our house. And we're going to show them tonight we're taking our house back. We have a duty to make this jail safe for our deputies, for our contractors, and for the inmates that are here.
Hey, Cam. Yes, sir. What do you think this is?
We're dealing with multiple problems here. We're dealing with drones that there's not many solutions out there that are delivering contraband. We're dealing with a building that's old and it's showing its age.
This problem is so bad, in fact, the FBI had to step in and launch an investigation into the jail and its harsh conditions. This would explain why a gang like GF would come to exist in the first place, with Rice Street's violence dating all the way back to the early 2000s, a problem which would gradually become worse over time as more outsiders move in and the city continues to expand. Now, during the early formation of the Goodfellas gang, the mob would become closely tied in with a mutual gang within the jail known as 30 Deep, who was considerably larger than Mob at the time. But when Mob and 30 Deep locked in, they became one thing under the GF banner, which would translate to some of the modern traditions in the crew we see today, such as recruits needing to drop their flag or leave their gang and get beat for 76 seconds to be initiated, hence the 7-6 moniker commonly used by GF, which would become iconic in Baby Kea's diss to Mob in his song Get Jiggy. Or the whoa phrase you hear mob members commonly refer to each other as, which means one the same as bro or, you know, my nigga. A phrase that would be popularized by GF rapper Glock 40 Spaz.
Man, listen, man. These cats know too much. That's how I know this is a police-driven page. Again, this page is called Trap TV. I never heard of them. They just posted this video 8 days ago. Never heard of them. But they got more information. There's nobody in the city that's pushing this page, Trap TV. This is just a page, and they got 132 views, 32,000 views on just this video alone. And I know they got other videos, but I'm telling you, these are the police in real life. What they're doing is they're putting out information, right? They're putting out information to see what bounces back. But they also know that some of this information, it could start something in these streets. They know this. So that's why which helps them out a lot, because they got informants, man, this is crazy.
However, as time passed and capos began being released, they would spread all over the city, notably the west side, and put on more members in the streets while claiming hoods and pushing weight. Their influence would become so big that their presence would exceed to other surrounding cities in Georgia. And Bowen Homes would notably be one of those hoods mob set up in and initiated members through mutual and past connections. Unfortunately, the projects were also targeted by public housing authorities for decades for its deteriorating infrastructure, unsafe living conditions, and crime rates that were becoming unbearable. And in 2008, the Atlanta Housing issued a $300 million redevelopment plan that will grow to $1 billion investment.
Recipe Bowen Home.
The projects would inevitably be demolished, forcing all its residents to relocate.
This was a powerful and emotional day for many of the residents who once lived in the Bowen Homes public housing complex. Atlanta is on schedule to become the first major city to tear down all of its project housing. But with that comes change and uncertainty.
Quick status.
Yeah, so that's, I'm telling you, with all the information that they have, like I said, I'm from Atlanta. I'm connected to a lot of these people. I know some of these people, but the information they got, man, they got to be getting that from inside sources, informants, and doing their own homework, like real homework, detective type homework.
Would eventually come the first phase of demolition for Bowen Homes in Northwest Atlanta.
On reflection, there's no question that this is the right direction.
I want them to tear it down because people be getting shot in here.
Former residents marked the occasion by taking home a Bowen brick.
I hate to see it go. This is one of the oldest projects in America. So
not everyone's glad to be gone.
These are perfect good apartments. It wouldn't have took nothing to renovate these apartments and keep it going on.
As a result of the project's demise, Marlowe would move to Delmar Lane with other GF members, pushing loads of that Bankhead dog food around the hood, which would essentially make him a big-time dope boy around the area, making hundreds of thousands all before he even thought of touching a microphone. Now Delmar Lane, home to the infamous Sierra Ridge Apartments, also known as the 9th Ward, and also home to one of the oldest, most dangerous hoods in Zone 4. Allen Temple, commonly known as the Temp, has a long history of gang problems and violence. Allen Temple is the original name of these apartments before they went under multiple changes, and natives from the city still and probably will forever call it Allen Temple instead of Allen Hills, what it currently goes by. Now, somewhere between the late 2000s and early 2010s, the East Coast Sex Money Murder Blood Alliance that originated in New York would influx the city's streets, gradually making the Blood Gang arguably the biggest gang in the city. Allen Temple, or the Temp, would be one of those hoods the Sex Money Murder Gang would take over and make their territory, and the entirety of Delmar Lane would be considered Blood territory before mob came to the hood, with the earliest video of the Temp's bloods dating all the way back to 2011, where a YouTuber interviews the Blood rapper Yayo, gangsters proudly expressing their Blood Gang affiliations, and residents on the block.
Shit. Everybody do their thing like Bowen Home. Everybody know about the Temple. Really, you heard G say he for the corner of the Temple where it dogs. See, he even get off the hard. You hear T.I. already always screaming about it. Killer Mike, you know what I'm saying? Everybody. Halle, you know what I'm saying? The franchise boy, Yola the Great, you know what I'm saying? Shit, nigga, we been rocking, you know what I'm saying? Like all my OG, you know what I'm saying? They made a way for us, nigga.
This would also explain why some PFK members would later on begin also claiming blood, like DB Omerta and other notable future members hailing from the Temp after beginning to beef with the very own crew that they originated from, with the Sex Money Murder Blood Alliance being so tied in within the city that their presence would exceed to areas like the East Side, which will be an important fact later on. When Lil Marlo set up shop on Delmar Lane, he would also meet key figures hailing from the hood that would later go on to form the PFK gang. And it would also start, perhaps, a chain of catastrophic events that would inevitably change his life forever.
Yo, Pierre, you wanna come out?
I'm in PFK as well. I am PFK.
Now, if you're from the city, then you know, or at least heard of PFK, a set that originated as a branch of GF members in the 9th Ward, which went on to arguably become more known than Mob. And anyone who's heard of PFK knowingly, without a doubt, knows who the creator of PFK is. Felipe, also known as Felipe Dadon or Lil One, is Mr. PFK himself. Back around the early 2010s, when everyone in the city was either Blood, Crip, or GD, Felipe would claim PFK, which would also be known as Perp Gang, or simply Play for Keeps, with the full acronyms of the early PFK gang actually going by PGPFK, meaning Perp Gang Play for Keeps.
You already know who that is, man. You already know that PFK Philippe right there. You know what I'm saying? Mr. Sticky and stuff. Let the folk know what's happening. You know what I'm saying? Let them know where you're from and shit like that too.
They know what's going on, man. West Side Atlanta, man. Life boy, stand the fuck up, man. PFK, man. They know what the fuck going on. Like Big Stick.
For sure. Now, let the folks know, you know what I'm saying? When was you introduced to PFK and when you start, you know what I'm saying, just running around, just busting your move around the city and shit like that?
I've been PFK since forever. I am PFK. You know what I'm saying? I stand on that.
Now, Felipe has been one of the biggest faces of Atlanta's criminal underworld through a series of his actions in the streets, which essentially make him a big-time dope boy like Marlo in the coming years, which garnered him respect around the 9 and Atlanta's west side. And he has stated that he's known Marlo since a kid, which would essentially give Marlo the green light to move to the 9 and join the early PFK gang Felipe was establishing.
Are you guys biologically related?
Nah, but you know, if my mama gave birth to him, couldn't make us no closer. Like, that's my brother.
You remember the first time you guys ever met?
Oh, yeah. See, I've been knowing Marlo since we were young. Like, me and his little brother, though, like, we used to play football and hit grandma in the yard, like, we were young. So I've been knowing him.
You can even find throwbacks of PFK in their early stages, with members hanging around the 9 and flexing their expensive jewelry and possessions they acquired by pushing heavy dope around the area. We begin to see notable figures and OGs of the early PFK gang like Felipe, Marlo, Brazil, Bomb First, Lucky, Pun, and No Plug, an important figure of this story that I'll get into later. Now, of course, there's more members making up the early crew of PFK, but for now, I'm only mentioning the most reputable members that are involved in this story. Now it is to state that around this time, Atlanta was always known as a get money and player city, which would be evident and shown in our flashy style and motion. This would explain how these gangs operated purely based off making plays and networking, with the city being so connected that the biggest crews in the city would all come together to make money and take over the music industry, with connections rather than deadly gang violence in other cities like Chicago or Jacksonville. Now, as I mentioned earlier, one of PFK's original and reputable members would be No Plug, who grew up around the city's west side and Swats area. He would eventually move to the 9 growing up in the city's streets, which made him join PFK as he already knew most of their members. And sometime near 2015, No Plug would become heavily tied in with the East Side's very own 2100 Slaughter Gang with rappers like 21 Savage, who was gaining a buzz in the city both in the music industry and streets. But as time went on, both crews became so tied into the point, they were considered clicked together at one point, forming the traditional L monikers that would be popularized in the use of future gangs in the city like the very own 4L, 3L, and other crews like 5L, 1L, and 10L. Now, if you clicked on this video, you're probably already a fan of Atlanta's influential music scene, or of rap in general, which means you've probably most certainly heard of 21 Savage, one of the most popular successful rappers in the world, which also means you've probably heard him shouting 4L out in his songs multiple times. Now 21 Savage has managed to successfully change his life and image around from his gritty come-up featuring some of his early trap gang banging music that gave him 2 platinum records. And as casual fans might tune into a 21 Savage song for his signature trap style, he manages to deliver on plenty of tracks. They might also be oblivious to the very real and dark situations behind his lyrics from his time on the East Side's deadliest blocks, losing multiple friends and brothers to gang violence before he even began claiming blood. Savage describing the dire situations he had to go through in this time being what made him have no heart. But to
that's what I'm saying, man. Like, how do they know all this? Because I know 21 ain't going around telling it. He from the same block I'm from, Glenwood. I'm from Glenwood. I'm from the 285 side. I think he like a couple miles down the road. But no, actually, he's from the same side. But how do they know? Because I know he's just not running around here telling everybody his business.
Fully understand who 4L are and where they truly began, then I must take you to that time, Savage's early childhood, which would be essential to understanding the city's new deadly gang politics.
Are you looking to...
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy. What the hell? What the hell going on here? Yeah, but no, this is wild information from these police academy. As they probably got a whole course in there on how to do a podcast. I guarantee you. I guarantee you.
Now, in the beginning of 2019, Savage was attending the Super Bowl 53 at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta. When the event was over, he was leaving until he was pulled over by ICE and arrested by U.S. Immigration and
Look how this is professional, man. This is professional work. You know what I mean? Like this is kind of stuff it takes hours to do. Nobody's just doing this or they're not using AI. Some of this, yeah, is AI, but they're not using AI for all of this stuff, right?
Customs enforcement. The agency says he is actually a UK citizen who overstayed his visa and that he now faces deportation. This would spark major controversy online regarding Savage's early life, as a lot of out-of-towners believed he was actually faking his entire persona, as he wasn't even from the US. But as more interviews came out from Savage regarding the incident and completely unrelated events, people would begin to actually understand, and it's not as complex as a lot of people make it out to be.
Yeah, okay, so now you're on the east side of Atlanta.
Yeah.
You got an accent. How receptive were the kids to you?
They used to I got in a fight on the first day of school. Oh, God.
From the jump?
Yeah, they used to tease me.
Okay.
Like, I went to Dunnell Elementary. That was the first elementary school I went to.
Okay.
I get on the bus or whatever, they start talking to me. So they making fun of me on the way to school.
Okay.
So we get on the bus to go home. They making fun of me on the way home.
Okay.
So we get out the bus. Like, one of the older dudes, like, his little brother was the main one. So the older brother said something like, basically like, shit, fight him. So we get out the bus, I beat him up. So all the girls, they run and tell my mama.
Okay.
See, during the case, it was revealed that Savage indeed was born in the UK, but he moved to the United States legally in 2005, where he would have been roughly around 13 years old, meaning he technically grew up here. It's all he's really ever known and adapted to. But it's also to mention that he stayed here as well when he was around 7, and already had family members staying in Atlanta, like his cousin Young Nudie. And you can even find plenty of throwbacks of Savage as a kid and teenager, clearly influenced and adapted to Atlanta's culture, and how the rough areas he grew up in affected his early childhood. Now, Savage has done plenty of interviews going into his early childhood, and a lot of obscure information about his life can be easily found on sites like his Wikipedia page. But no other interview of his has gone as viral as his famous Vlad TV interview, where he delves into his come-up in Atlanta. And, oh yeah, Vlad asking him about the notorious knife tattoo on his forehead.
What does the cross on your forehead signify? It's a knife.
However, how viral has this clip's essentially gone on the internet for its obscure hilariousness? Most casuals only watch that part of the clip, not knowing that moments later, Savage would actually dive deeper into the dagger's meaning, revealing a dark truth to its origins. Having lost one of his day ones to gun violence just outside of the infamous G Block, just as Slaughter Gang was beginning to be established.
Dad, my little brother Tay-Man had and got killed. And we had started some little shit, a little clique, you know what I'm saying? And the logo for the clique was the daggers, you know what I'm saying? And we were supposed to get it right there, you know, in between your thumb and your index, like right there. But he hadn't just went and got the shit in his goddamn forehead. So I'm like, what the fuck, this nigga crazy as hell. And he ended up getting killed. So shit, I was like, shit, fucking, I'm finna go do it for him, you know what I'm saying? And when I went and got that.
So the tattoo is a tribute to your brother who got killed.
Right. My little brother Tay-Man, R.I.P.
That's deep. That's definitely deep.
Now this would be just one of many examples of Savage's troubled past in Atlanta's streets, which would come to be a shock to many that Savage was originally from a GD set that ran the east side of Atlanta before the blood wave hit the city. And if you
like how do y'all know that? How y'all know he's from GDs? Somebody answer the question for me in the comments. How do you know he was from the GDs? How you know that?
ask Savage, he would most likely tell you himself that he began getting into the streets here at the young age of 13.
It's really been my whole life, really, since I was born, you know what I'm saying? I've been involved with the street. But hands-on, I'd say about 13, 14.
Now, in your songs, you talk about being a blood.
Right.
Like how old were you when you first started getting into that?
Probably about 19. But I've been 21 my whole life. That was our gang, you know what I'm saying? This blood shit just hit Atlanta not too long ago. It was really like a big wave.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. 21 slipped when he said that. When he said this.
We were supposed to get it right there, you know, in between your thumb and your index.
When he said that was our gang, that like, you know, yeah, he shouldn't have said that. I'm just gonna say that.
Like right there. But he hadn't just went and got the shit in his goddamn forehead. So I'm like, what the fuck, this nigga crazy as hell. And he ended up getting killed. So shit, I was like, shit, fucking, I'm finna go do it for him, you know what I'm saying? And when I went and got that.
So the tattoo is a tribute to your brother who got killed.
Right. My little brother Tay-Man, R.I.P.
That's deep. That's definitely deep.
Now this would be just one of many examples of Savage's troubled past in Atlanta's streets, which would come to be a shock to many that Savage was originally from a GD set that ran the east side of Atlanta before the blood wave hit the city. And if you ask Savage, he would most likely tell you himself that he began getting into the streets here at the young age of 13.
It's really been my whole life, really, since I was born, you know what I'm saying? I've been involved with the street. But hands-on, I'd say about 13, 14.
Now, in your songs, you talk about being a blood.
Right.
Like how old were you when you first started getting into that?
Probably about 19. But I've been 21 my whole life. That was our gang, you know what I'm saying? This blood shit just hit Atlanta not too long ago. It was really like a big wave of, you know what I'm saying, everybody getting in, gangs, Crip, blood, and all that shit. So that's when that shit happened. But
in fact, one of the many examples of Savage getting into trouble around this age would stem from the iconic story where Savage brought a gun to middle school to defend himself against rival gang members and ended up getting caught with it, being sent to the DeKalb Regional Youth Development Center in Decatur. See, Savage isn't actually from the Zone 6 part of the city, which I mentioned earlier as being home to many rap legends and icons in the industry. In fact, you'd come to find out that many icons who've claimed Zone 6 over the years didn't actually even grow up there if you take into consideration the zone's small borders compared to the other zones. Rappers like Gucci Mane are...
Okay, I know what they're getting into. For those who don't know, there's the east side, which is Decatur, and then there's Zone 6. And a lot of people think that that's the same place. And they're actually in the same area. They're real close to each other, but it's not the same thing. And it's two different type of people. You got the East Atlanta niggas, and then you got the Decatur niggas. But we neighbors. We all neighbors. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Are actually from Decatur, as it can be seen in throwbacks when he went to Columbia High School. The same...
Yeah, see, Gucci went to Columbia. That's Decatur. So he had to have a Decatur address in order to Columbia. That's not Zone 6. But a lot of people from out of town, they mistaken that as Zone 6, but it's not. That's the east side. That's Decatur.
Can essentially be said about Savage, as he actually spent most of his childhood growing up in areas like Stone Mountain, Decatur.
Yeah, Stone Mountain, that's Decatur. That's, you know, if 21 Savage was growing up in Stone Mountain, yeah, he from the east side, not East Atlanta. There's two different things. East side and East Atlanta, two different things.
Redan, Gwinnett, and so on.
Hey, Robert Hertruck from Shark Tank.
So for those who don't know, if you want to know, East Side Atlanta, or the East Side, is because it's not Atlanta. East Side and East Atlanta are two different places that's separated by a small border. And actually, going back to East Lake Meadows, going back to East Lake Meadows, exactly where East Lake Meadows is the border between East Atlanta and the East Side, which is Decatur. That's the actual border. So once you pass, depending on which way you go, once you either in Decatur or you're in Atlanta. East Lake Meadows is the border between Zone 6 and the East Side, Decatur. All right.
Very own 21 moniker is a reference to the notorious 2100 block, also known as Glenwood Road, that starts in Zone 6 and runs through the East Side in areas like Decatur, where it reaches the Stone Mountain and Redan borders.
So this is where I'm from, right here. East Side, Austin Drive, Glenwood, West Chapel, Snapfinger, Columbia Drive. Columbia Drive, that's where Columbia High School at, where Gucci Mane went to. But he also went to McNair High School. So yeah, this right here, this is the area I'm from, right here. Oh, this is me right here. And it's also 21/7.
East Atlanta and the East Side of Atlanta are two completely different things, and some parts of Decatur were actually claimed to be Zone 6 by natives. And you would also hear Stone Mountain niggas claiming Zone 6 because of how close the areas are, blurring the lines between what was Zone 6 and what was not. An example of this would be from rapper Young Mal, a buzzing Decatur rapper from the B4L clique, a small set part of the 4L faction that runs the infamous Candler Road, sometimes referred to as Bandler due to its blood affiliations. Young Mal would go on to make a notoriety from claiming Zone 6 even though his hood is technically in the borders of Decatur, and this discussion would be one of the hot arguments within the city's politics. It isn't until rapper Omeretta dropped her Sorry Not Sorry freestyle in 2022, which went mega viral, where she called out all of the
Yeah, that's not Atlanta. Boy, that is not Atlanta. Decatur is not Atlanta. Clayco is not Atlanta. I can argue that. College Park, that's South Fulton, so that's Atlanta. That's Atlanta. Roswell, not Atlanta. Forest Park, not Atlanta. Lilburn, not Atlanta. Yeah. She took off with that little song though.
Confusion and niggas from the metro areas who claim Atlanta when they're not from or live in any of the city's zones. This is what would push metro niggas to actually claim where they're from, making a name for themselves. But in reality, Atlanta wouldn't be what it is today without the city's metro areas, and no song or person would ever divide the city's culture. I'm telling you this to understand the East Side's politics, and because even though Savage didn't grow up in Zone 6 or East Atlanta, the work he put in for the Zone 6 Bloods after his days banging GD on the East Side would solidify his status in the entire city.
Like, who says banging GD? Like, this is not like a young cat that's running this page. Like, this sounds like a detective that's trying to be street.
Now, growing up as a kid on the East Side, Savage wouldn't be dragged into the gang life until after he got released from juvie for bringing the FI to school and then having to attend alternative school in Gwinnett.
You know what I mean? So we move out there. This when I first started seeing like gangs, cause over here it wasn't no gang. It was like GD, but that's it. I moved out there to Gwinnett. It's like it's Bloods, Crips, motherfucking GDs. You got the Mexican gangs, cause there's a lot of Mexicans out there.
Yeah.
So you got Mexican gangs. I'm like, what the fuck? I started seeing shit on the desk and shit, stars, gang sound. Like, hell, this shit is. I knew what Bloods and Crips was, but I ain't never really just.
You ain't see the other shit too.
How they was banging out there, like, this the suburbs. These niggas like gang banging like a motherfucker.
Yeah, he ain't capping out there, man. Gwinnett, man. You know, a lot of us used to stay away from Gwinnett, because the police out there. But I'm gonna tell you, just like Cobb County, but I'm gonna tell you now, man, the police been slacking a lot just in the state of Georgia, period. Like, they not as rough as they used to be. But Gwinnett, the Migos run Gwinnett. Let's just say that. The Migos run Gwinnett for sure. Shout out to my Migo partners.
This is self-admittedly where Savage would begin experiencing gang politics and where he would be introduced to GDs from Glenwood. a set that is arguably the creators of drill music as we know it, with diss songs to their bitter rivals dating back to the 2000s. Now, before the blood wave came through the city, the East Side was infamously known for being majority GD territory. One of those sets would be known as Black Mob, which gained a notoriety in the early to mid-2000s on the East Side for not only their musical talents, but for the heavy pressure they applied in the streets.
Goddamn Black Mob in this bitch. Goddamn EMP off in this bitch. Hey, 2 doors across the lane off in this bitch. Y'all niggas front line, bitch. Y'all already know, nigga. You know what you heard, nigga. That bitch EMP. You got that cool nigga with the fuck. Nigga, 888 block, nigga. Black Mob, nigga. You eat my ass, nigga. Get on that shit, man. Get on that shit, man. Hey,
Take the hit me in the background.
This ain't fuck the fam, alright?
See, Black Mob originally formed on 2100 Block or Glenwood Road, but as time went on, smaller cliques from different surrounding hoods would be formed under the Black Mob GD set, which did nothing but spread their influence more across the East Side.
See, how did they know that the Black Mob is a GD set? Come on, man. Make it make sense. How y'all know that? And because you can't be a street dude because you putting all this information on the internet. That's the only reason I'm playing it, because it's already here. It's got 132,000. It's got 132,000 views in 8 days. So the only reason I'm playing it because everybody done seen it already. But why? If you was a street dude, or if you was a journalist, a regular journalist, you putting too much energy. This thing is 2 hours and 30 minutes long, bro.
Everybody right here with me right now. From 20. Everybody. 21. Whole Halo. MOB. GMB. Man, that's how we do it, man. Come on, man. With them gutter boys, man. Y'all already know what time it is, man. Same shit, man. We been doing this shit for a long time.
Sick of this shit,
time
really,
to hear
man.
the story, man. We crunked this up in high school. They already know what time it is, man. Way back in the day, it was in high school around 2002, man. Really. Day one, A1 nigga.
They call that a movement.
You understand me,
man. That was a movement.
It was a movement, you feel me? Everybody.
Make sure y'all like and subscribe. Hit that notification button, man. It's the Leylo Show, man. Tap in.
Columbia High. Then they just linked up. You know how we did it, man. We did it big. You already know. Black Mark first, man. Then, you know, everything else, man, came along with it, man. We got Whole Head, we got 21. We got, you know what I mean? We got GMB, man. DP, them gutters. I'm trying to tell y'all, man.
Hey, my name's Tiku. I'm 18 and I went to Columbia High School. My cousin in the mob, he started all this shit. JP from the Gutter Boys.
Okay.
But she look like
and my cousin Drago.
But she look like but she got that thing.
Okay.
But she look like she got that thing, man. What's going on, man? What going on, man? What that is? What that is right there on her face?
Really, when I was in like 8th grade, that was like goddamn 07. I started seeing that shit, and I went to high school and I see all that shit, fights in front of my school, the fam fighting Black Mob, and on the bus and shit with these fuck niggas. And
let me ask you a quick question. What if you can start?
This person know a whole lot. They got too much information, y'all. I'm telling you, this the police.
Would be another notorious blood set from the surrounding metro Atlanta hoods called.
That's if all of this is true. All this could be made up. This could be allegedly.
Smaller cliques within the set that made up the gang.
No, we're for filter, man. Straight up. 30314, tie that.
Black Capone.
Really, man. You know I'm gonna be rocking shit on Mike. Yes. I want to see all this shit, man. We created this shit. Yeah, fuck niggas kept on playing. But you point niggas, boy, stop playing with it.
Start that sneak dissing too. I'm telling you, boy, you got to know how you get killed, man.
It's time now, man. Stop fucking playing with us, man.
See, it's unknown what exactly caused these two crews to begin beefing, but it can all be essentially blamed on high school beefs turned physical, which eventually led to full-fledged gang war spilling onto the streets. For instance, the notorious brawls between these groups that happened at Stonecrest Mall during the peak of this beef. You can even find throwbacks of Black Mob celebrating Glenwood Day until shots are fired at the reunion, presumably by their ops.
They got it. They got the Glenwood look, and they giving all the credits, which they should. This is Glenwood Day in 05. I was locked up then.
However, the history of Black Mob and the fam's beef is irrelevant to this video, but understanding the violent gang politics perpetuated by these two crews on the east side and how they played a huge role in Savage's childhood and the formation of 4L and Slaughter Gang is crucial to understanding Atlanta.
Like they know this, man. Listen, they know shit that I don't even know, man. This is crazy. And I'm from the city, born and raised. And I'm in the entertainment business.
His current gang politics. Now entering the 2010s, top members from Black Mob and the fam would be indicted on RICO charges, which would fundamentally break these crews' structure as the younger generations began taking over and started forming new cliques and sometimes flipping their original set affiliations. And as I mentioned before, sometime during the early 2010s would be when Atlanta had a massive blood gang wave swooping in from the East Coast affiliated sets. What was left of the Black Mob 2100 members, or simply 21 members after the RICO, would consist of Black Mob OGs and the younger generations like Savage and his affiliates, who we would all come to be familiar with, like Lil Harold, Slaughter Gang Tip, Johnny B, Tay-Man, Larry, and many others. And since Black Mob was so reputable on the east side, they was also tied in with the Zone 6 gangsters, which a lot already repped blood from not only the blood wave striking the city, but also inherited affiliations due to Gucci Mane's hold on East Atlanta. This means that some 21 Black Mob members were put on to blood, but a lot of the crew were still GD and still haven't flipped yet. And due to the gang's fallen structure, that also means a lot of 21 members split from their original hood and moved to other locations. And one of the first and early hoods the official Slaughter Gang would make their territory is Boulevard in the old 4th Ward neighborhood, known for its section of projects and also, ironically, being the neighborhood of Martin Luther King's childhood home. Now, shortly after the time Black Mob was fumbled from the impending RICO, those remaining 21 Black Mob members would go on to take one of their first major losses from the streets in one of the most brutal stories I've heard from the Atlanta scene. I'm of course talking about the death of the beloved 2100 member Larry White, who could be seen in plenty of 21 throwback pictures and was known as one of the wild cards in the clique. Not much is known about Larry due to the time at which he passed away, but in 2021, 21 Lil Harold would release a documentary about their beloved brother that would give us an insight into who he was as a person.
It wasn't right here for Larry, because Larry, everybody like in 2100, 9 times out of 10 got 2100 tapped right here, and like they got it because Larry got it.
He really was just sizing us up, like just checking out temperature to see what we really on, you know what I'm saying, on that bullshit. So we used to buck back like, nigga, got that fucked up, nigga. Ooh. So he seen us doing all that, like, what y'all nigga think y'all hot? One day, shit, man, I lie to you not. That nigga called like 6, 7, 8 niggas. We got out of the boy one day. Juice came down there.
So do you think that they getting all this information because of all the interviews that everybody's been doing over the years? But here's the thing, like, as a regular person or just a journalist or just somebody just trying to make a living, who has the time to do this unless you're getting paid to do this? And the only people I can think of is like detectives. That's the only thing I can think of. Like, I know how to do this, but I don't have time for it because it's not gonna pay me a whole lot of money. Even with 132,000 views, you know, that's not a lot of money on YouTube. You know, so I wouldn't even have the time to do this. But you could literally put this on Tubi TV and it'll make a lot of money. But that's not what they put it. They just put it on YouTube. So I don't know. Y'all tell me in the comments what you think.
Larry, T-Tay, goddamn, Tay. Oh yeah, Johnny came down there. All them niggas came down there. So boom, we get out of the bus. The whole time, mind us, we thinking this nigga Larry playing. We thinking this nigga Larry was serious, but he was playing the whole time. So boom, we get out of the bus. We see them niggas deep. We get out of the bus, woo, woo, and nigga ran up on that. You know what I'm saying? Like, ran up on that with everything paused. And nigga, he went on swung on that.
This just goes on to show you the amount of love and respect Larry had amassed with his 2100 family. But eventually, what's done in the streets will eventually shed to light and catch up with you, as prominent 21 member OG and one of Savage's best friends. 21 Crucial goes into detail about the fatal night Larry was killed and what may have led up to it. See, in 2010, Harold would be attending Reedon High School in Stone Mountain. Just 16 years old at the time, where he would eventually get into an argument with rival students at the school, which led to a scuffle. Eyewitnesses at the scene describes that Harold would pull a gun out and fire into the air, which spooked the school police guard, prompting him to shoot Harold 4 times. Harold can be seen.
Like, yeah, they got police reports. They got stuff that's just, you know, you got to spend money to get some of this information.
After this incident would only be a blood-fueled rivalry between the crews at the school, which eventually turned deadly, as Crucial is better off telling you himself.
All work, man. Rest in peace to Larry Mama, man.
He was taking his last breath, and I heard him I heard him breathing. So his breath was getting lower and lower. Then after that, he just stopped breathing. Put my head down, closed my eyes, and that when I knew Larry was dead. Like, that when it clicked, like, damn, Larry dead.
This would be the painful reality and start to the 21 crew in the beginning of the 2010s, as not only the gang politics have become borderline chaotic, but the violence here too, and the 2010s would be exactly that time period where Atlanta began shifting from local petty and drug violence to becoming a full-on gangland.
Sorry to ruin your groove.
Yeah, so as you can see, man, it's a whole lot of information going on. There's a whole lot of talking going on. But the question is, are they getting this information, you know, from interviews like Vlad TV or DJ Academics or whatever? Or are they getting this information from inside sources? Because it's a lot of information. I don't know. You tell me. Let me know in the comments. Like and subscribe.
On social media, sharing his memories for years to come. Savage's very own Instagram page ironically being the highlight, documenting this time him and his crew were going through, as you can find plenty of Instagram posts on Savage's page dedicated to his fallen brother. Unfortunately, just 2 years later after Larry's death, 21 members would become more heavily involved in petty street activities like drug dealing, shootings, and robberies that would go on to eventually take the life of another beloved 2100 member who was mentioned before, Johnny B. Johnny, sometimes went by Lil B, was Savage's right-hand man and his best friend before he went on to become a rap superstar, and Savage would often post pictures with him since he first opened up his Instagram account in 2012. However, the posts leading up to Johnny's death are low-key eerie, as Savage is seen occasionally telling the world how he feels on top of reminiscing on Larry. As a few days before Johnny was killed, Savage took to Instagram to express how he's done everything but died, unknowingly foreshadowing the next couple weeks where Savage would be celebrating his birthday until a drug deal went wrong in the Stanford Oaks apartments in Tucker. Savage, Johnny, and the supposed buyer or dealer were all chilling in a car until the assailants would eventually pull his weapon, letting off 8 to 10 shots, striking both. Johnny was instantly killed in this incident, while Savage was fortunate enough to survive the shooting and return fire to one of the assailants.
So he got the jump on you?
Kinda. Not really though, because they was really scared for real.
It was 1 or 2?
It was 2 of them.
It was 2 of them, okay.
One jumped in the back seat.
Okay.
One was standing up outside the car.
Okay.
Type shit. So the one who was standing outside the car, he shot me off the rip, right here.
Okay.
Cause I'm turned like this, so he like, fuck nigga, boom. Then he take off running. So now it's just me and Buddy in the back seat.
Okay.
But my brother, he like I remember screaming to him type shit, cause me and Buddy started going back and forth. Like his arm was like over the seat and my arm was like over the seat.
Okay.
So I remember like, but I was shot. So I remember saying like Johnny, shoot him, shoot him, shoot him, type shit. And me and Buddy was just going back and forth. And then Buddy in the back seat started screaming like, ah, ah.
So you hit him?
Yeah, but I was hit up too.
Right.
So when I remember like the gun jammed type shit. So I had cocked it back again. And when I put my arm over the seat, he put his gun on my arm and shot me. So my gun fell out my hand. And I remember us fighting over my gun. Then it went off one more time, boom. And I got shot right here in my hand from holding the gun type shit. Then he got up and he tried to run and he collapsed type shit. And then I remember that's when I had an iPhone then. This was probably like the iPhone 3 or some shit. Ugly ass iPhone. So goddamn, I remember like trying to unlock the phone to call 911 and like my blood kept drying up the screen type shit. So I remember I got out the car. But first, that's how I knew Johnny was dead type shit. Cause like after Buddy got out the car and ran, I remember I told Johnny like, pull off, bro, pull off, pull off. And then the car wasn't moving, but his foot was on the gas, but it was in park.
Right.
So the engine was just like,
revved up.
Then it was like some movie shit. The windshield wipers was like, shh, shh, but it wasn't raining.
Right.
And then, you know, the door, like when you got the door open, ding, 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 like the alarm that tell you close the door.
Right.
Type shit. So I jumped out the car, I went and knocked on somebody's door. They ain't come to the door. So I went back to the car and goddamn, I unlocked my phone. I finally like, I didn't even unlock it. Back then it was like slide for emergency call.
Right.
So I ended up sliding it. Called 911 like, yeah, I'm shot, woo, woo, woo. They get the asking all tight, just dicked out ass questions like, what the fuck, bro? Like,
I'm shot.
What street? Man, what the fuck you mean, what street? Who? I don't know the street. I'm just shot.
Right.
Type shit. So they like, I remember telling them like, my brother dead type shit. And then I remember laying there and I guess the nigga who was driving them niggas, he came looking for the nigga who was in the back seat. I guess he couldn't find the nigga. So goddamn, he rolled back past and I remember being on the phone because I thought they was finna ride back past to handle the business.
Right.
So I scooped back type shit. I was on the phone to like they riding back past, woo, type shit. Then I remember the police pulled up. I don't even think I told her. I think I just put the phone like down type shit and just did like that. Then the police pull up. So I get out the car because I'm a victim. I'm like, man, this nigga talking about put your hands up. Put your hands up, let me see your hands. I'm like, bro, I can only put this arm up. Cause remember I told you he shot me in this arm. So I put the arm up. I'm like, I'm shot in this arm, I'm shot in this arm. He like, sit on the curb and put both of your hands behind your back. I'm like, man, I'm shot in this arm. I can't put it behind my back. He like, put it behind your back. So I think I just like mean this shit like that type shit. Then I sat right there for a minute, then the ambulance pulled up. And when the ambulance got there, I remember the lady, it was a white lady. I wanted to see her like, so I wondered like how she doing type shit. But she was in the back of the ambulance, so they put me on the stretcher and shit. They cut my clothes open, put me on the stretcher, so she put me in the back. And she was like, let's hurry up and get him to the hospital before the sergeant get here and he bleed to death type shit. Cause I guess like when you in critical condition or some shit, like, well, I don't even think I was in critical condition. I think I was just bleeding a lot.
Right.
I guess like they objective is for the detective to hurry up and ask you questions just in case.
Right.
Type shit. So she was like, hurry up. So they put me in the ambulance and we just went to the hospital.
How many times did you get hit?
6. And then.
No vital organs though?
No vital organs.
So what do you think happened to you? He got friendly fire?
My brother?
Yeah, the one that was in the car with you.
No, I think the dude in the back seat shot him in the head.
Oh, okay.
Like when it first happened.
You right.
Cause he had his gun on him too.
Right.
But he never shot.
Right. So that's why when you're saying Johnny shoot him, he couldn't because he had already got hit.
Yeah. I think he got hit like off the rip.
Rip.
Type shit.
Right.
Yeah.
You think about that? Do you think about that day? What could have been? What could you have done differently?
Yeah, hell yeah. But I ain't even want to really ride with him that day. Cause I was really just trying to chill. It was my birthday.
Right.
We had some shit, like some drinking shit, some liquor and shit. We was finna get drunk. So I was really just going over there to kick it with him.
Right.
Type shit. So yeah, I be thinking about that. But the main thing I think about is like I heard his grandma on the phone telling him like, I'm ready. Cause he pick her up from work every day.
Right.
And I just used to think like, damn, I wish he would have just went and got his grandma instead, type shit.
Johnny's death would strike the 2100 crew drastically, and this would be one of just many instances that changed Savage's life and shaped 4L into what it is today. Savage could be seen fresh in and out of the hospital after being taken in by medics in the following days. After the tragic loss of Johnny, Savage could be seen back on the streets and recovering from the fatal shooting in good spirits. This would be the beginning of the Slaughter Gang crew as we know it, as 2100 members closest to Larry and Johnny began claiming blood and would begin putting in work and claiming hoods in the Zone 6 part of the city.
Do this 7 minutes a day.
Man, it's this, like I said, they know too much, man, but this is definitely an interesting story, man. And we're just gonna keep rocking out, man. You know, if y'all like what y'all seeing, make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, you know what I mean? Hit your boy on the Cash App. Hit that notification button, man, because I will be dropping some more, man, back to back. Let's go. It's the Leylo Show.
Real nigga.
Now, the infamous 4L moniker that's been popularized by Savage and his crew, which would eventually turn into a full-fledged gang alliance influencing the city's entire...
Okay, I'm going to guess, because I think it means for life. I'm just guessing. Let's see what it means.
Gang politics was first mentioned in 2012 and 2013 by 21 Crucial under the acronyms BS4L, which which Block Shit for Life. Block Shit, or Block Boy, was a common phrase or crew shouted out and repped by lots of 21 members, including Crucial, who used to go by Block Boy Crucial, and Savage with Block Boy tattooed on the side of his face. The phrase "for life" was also beginning to be used by Crucial and Savage as homages and vows to their beloved crew, promising to represent 21 and their fallen brothers for life. However, it didn't begin being pushed as a movement until the final loss coming from the original Black Mob and 2100 Slaughter Gang group known as Tay-Man. As mentioned earlier, the early Slaughter Gang crew at the time, consisting of Savage and his closest affiliates, formed the clique in memory of their fallen brothers.
Man, that incident that 21 Savage went through, man, I already know, man. Like I done been through similar situations, and you know that changed your whole life perspective and how you look at things and look at your community and the people around you, the people you may trust or may not trust. Like a whole lot changed, man. That's when the niggas start putting that mug on his face. You know, when you go through something, it's trauma. When you go through trauma, man, you know, some trauma you just can't get over. You know what I'm saying? And it take you down a different path, man. You know.
And as Savage previously mentioned, the logo for their clique was supposed to be the now infamous dagger logo, now associated with the Slaughter Gang brand, with Slaughter Gang members originally planning to all get the tattoo between their thumb and index finger. You see, 21, or 2100, referring to the entirety of Glenwood Road, means a lot of members were from or lived off Glenwood, not referring to a particular section of the block as you would...
I literally, this area right here, like that's the old folks' home that's up there next to the drive-through liquor store, and it's a tire shop where I literally can walk up there from my house.
Commonly see in other cities like Chicago, where O Block and STL are both technically off 63rd, both O Block doesn't claim it. In Atlanta, both of those hoods would have probably been one the same thing, and their ops would probably be off an entire other section or street, not down the road or across the street from each other. This means that 2100 had plenty of sub-hoods, as I call it, that were off Glenwood. G-Block being one of those hoods early.
That right there, that's Catalina Apartments. Like I had a trap over here. I think I was in 01, all the way in the back. That's Catalina. But my grandmama stayed right across the street on Hollyhock, right across the street from the apartment. So I know this area well. I walk these streets up to the Texaco every day to get a blunt. Austin Drive, Flea Market. These are my streets right here.
21 and Black Mob members claimed, being arguably the OG hood of the 21 crew in which it was formed. Anyways, G-Block was also beginning to become a heavily blood-affiliated hood around this time in early 2014 due to its slaughter gang affiliations. And wherever there's gangs and crime, there also tends to be plenty of violence here too. Unfortunately, on March 20th of 2014, just a little before 11:30 p.m., 18-year-old Quantavious Armstrong, commonly known as Taman to his peers, was walking to a food mart just a short distance outside of G-Block until he was suddenly in.
Yeah, that's the gas station right there. That's Tesco. Catalina, like right down in Bottom Hill, or they say Exxon, but they done changed it so many times, but it used to be Texaco.
Tragically gunned down by an unknown assailant. No arrests have been made to this day. And just as the last two losses from the 2100 crew, Tayman's death would be a tragedy for his beloved brothers, as 21 members can be seen grieving him days after the shooting, and multiple videos and pictures would release around this time of Savage and his affiliates often visiting his memorial outside of G-Block. Now, after Tayman's death, 2100 members could be seen getting deeper into the streets, repping blood to the fullest, and linking with notorious gangs and other hoods on the east side and Zone 6. Such as the time Savage dropped his low to Alley Boy in a now deleted back and forth showing him posted on what would then be one of Slaughter Gang's main hoods, Boulevard, as I mentioned earlier. There's even pictures and videos circulating of Savage posted up and walking in the Temp, which I mentioned earlier as currently being 4L's soon-to-be Ops 3L. This just shows you how connected Savage really was with the city's bloods, as he began gaining a reputation around the entire Atlanta, not just on the east. And while Savage could be seen on Instagram prior in the studio and previewing new music, it wasn't until then, after Tayman's passing, he and other 21 members began taking music seriously and began networking with other artists and gangs due to their newly found connections. Not only did Savage have a tragic and authentic story behind him, but the entire 21 crew did as well. And everyone in Atlanta must have seen that during the rise of Slaughter Gang.
What drives an entrepreneur to create?
Yeah, this is well, a lot of the information we just saw, man, you know, a lot of people, it's easy to find out, especially if you're from the city. So, you know, but I'm looking at the time and the production that it took to make this stuff. You feel me?
Shit that was in the street, like we got down, did everything in the streets. We kept getting the same. We kept getting the same answer. It wasn't just working out, like the street shit just got tired of. Then we had lost a lot of people on the way. I see years and then you like shit. Bro, ain't none of that street shit working out, bro. Rap. There ain't shit else to do. Rap.
Now, coming off the steam Savage and Slaughter Gang were quickly making in the city, Savage would later go on to release his mixtape next year in 2015, Slaughter Tape, that basically made him one of the biggest underground Atlanta artists, which gradually turned him mainstream when he went on.
Hey man, really, shouts out to 21 though, man, because man, he had a hell of a grind, man, and he came from nothing, and he really put in the work to put his own shit out there. And I don't even think he ever had like a major deal, you know, before he like started doing work with Drake and those alike. So shout out to 21, man. He got that shit out the mud, man. Real shit, man. And I ain't saying that just because he home team. Man. Not like I like saying that shit, though.
On to release songs in the next couple days like Red Flag, Blue Flag, and of course Red Ops. Now 21 Savage was huge in Atlanta at this time as he was blowing up, and many affiliates and cliques began being put on to 4L and began repping it to the fullest, such as Savage's cousin Young Nudie, who I stated before is from the 1504 Paradise East apartments in Zone 6, who was already repping blood before he joined 4L due to the apartment's blood affiliations dating from Gucci Mane. You see, Paradise East was not only a notorious hood, but it was also a gang repped by those who lived there, sort of similar to O Block. PDE had their own history and affiliations, such as being clicked up with the Bloods from Allison Court all the way on the west side in the Zone 4 and SWATs area. Allison Court is an infamous street and section of dangerous apartments off Zone 4's Campbellton Road, and has had blood activity ever since the massive wave kicked through the city. Interestingly enough, they were also clicked up with the Allen Temple Bloods just 9 minutes away. And it would be from Nudie and Savage's 4L affiliations that Allison Court Bloods would be put on to 4L. Particularly the 1504 PDE 4L clique Young Nudie soon formed after it became a giant movement. And now 4L members from the west side would go by a hybrid 4L clique called West Side 2100. And those closest to Nudie and the east side would join PDE 4L and begin putting in work for their hood. Notable members from Allison Court would be 4L Quan, Lotto Savage, and surprisingly, Baby Drill.
Man, they know a whole lot. They know a whole lot. I know a lot of them.
Who would go by Christo at this point. Other notable cliques and hoods that began repping under the 4L banner would be a gang of Bloods in the 1900 Glenfair Road apartments off.
Yeah. The old English right there. Used to trap out that spot too, man. That's still a trap to this day. Police don't even mess with it. That's still a trap. That's the biggest trap on the east side right there.
Glenwood known as One Gang, and another reputable blood clique from the east side called 20 Gang. Things were in motion for Savage and 4L, and they would start a wave that would probably never be replicated on the city's east ever again. But little did they know that they would also lose multiple other members to this new alliance and become one of the most influential crews in the entire world.
Ever wondered what your home...
Hey, man, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button, man, and the notification bell, man. It's your boy, Leylo. This is the Leylo Show, man. Hit your boy on the Cash App, man, because I can do this every day if you want me to, for real. Hit your boy on the Cash App, subscribe, share the live. Let's go. All right, what we got next? What we talking
Now come 2016. 4L and PFK were arguably in their peak together as one before the beef, with Savage releasing hits like Dip Dip, No Heart, and of course being nominated in the iconic 2016 Double XL Freshman Cypher.
Rolling on my bitch.
What?
30 on my waist.
What?
30 to your face.
Yeah.
60 to your face.
Yeah.
90 to your face.
Yeah.
That's a closed case.
Yeah.
Hey.
With Nudie making noise for the PDE side of 4L with his own catalog of hits coming out at the time like Rough Life and Don't Beef. However, on the PFK side of this new alliance between the richest crews in the city, Lil Marlo and other PFK members could be seen flashing their expensive jewelry and other riches they've achieved rather off moving weight, instead of making a presence in the rap scene yet. Similar to the start of the 21 crew, PFK was more focused on making their money and notoriety off-street activities, as they were caught in the violent cycle that comes with this life and haven't thought about rapping yet. Interestingly enough, Lil Marlo could be seen promoting and supporting Lil Baby at the beginning of his career, expressing how tied in they were with each other. The Sierra Ridge Apartments, better known as the 9th Ward, or simply the 9, was not only PFK's main hood at the time, but it was also beginning to reveal its presence to the world within the music industry and criminal underworld of being like a gang haven of the richest and most powerful crews in the city.
See, I got a big family in Atlanta. If you know me, you know my family. And I got family that grew up in all of these projects, from the west side to the east side to the south side to the north side. And I personally grew up on the south side and the east side, but I've lived in the west side as well and the north side. So I'm very familiar with these projects, but I ain't finna put a whole video together. The police did this, man. I ain't gonna count with you. The police put this whole video together.
These projects bringing in hundreds of thousands from drug trafficking alone.
You know me, man. Black John got it, man. You dig what I'm doing. Mod shit, man. Yeah, we live in a...
Yeah, y'all don't know who that is? If you know who that is, say that in the chat. Tell me in the chat who that is right there.
Motherfucking 9 on Delmar right now. A lot of you niggas can't come here, period. Matter of fact, none of you niggas can't come here, period, you dig?
Nigga gotta tap
Nah, for real, it's real. Costa Nostra in the motherfucking building, you dig? We get it all out the trap spot. That boy 9 slam with me. Yeah. Get it or die.
In fact, plenty of videos and vlogs in the 9 these.
You know what's crazy? You see this logo right here? That nigga, the nigga who shot this video right here, that nigga testified on me in trial. Yeah, he sat on the stand for 45 minutes. Yeah, I'm putting it out there. Fuck you, nigga. Yeah. That nigga who made that is, you niggas in the city know who that is. Yeah, he testified on me at trial. I ain't gonna put his name out there. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So with that being said, like I said, this is a police video. The police put this shit together. Yeah, that's what I said. Yeah.
Crews would document themselves in would feature the likes of big names in these alliances like Young Nudie and 21 Savage himself. In an interview focused on the notorious rapper No Plug, who was making waves in the city with his new music and ties to both PFK and 4L.
Cigarillo, Pino, backwood. Big. Nah, for real. Getting on the floor, little bitch. On the floor. Got my nigga Young in the
Slaughter gang shit, man. We walk around with dimes, man. You hear me, man? We having this shit. Y'all niggas broke. I know y'all broke.
Rapping 10 years. Still ain't got no motherfucking
trappers too. Y'all been trapping all y'all life, still working.
All these gay ass rappers, man. All these faggot ass rappers.
Not a deal, man. We do this shit.
We do this shit out here, man.
Y'all know who run this shit, man.
Gay ass rappers, man. Fake ass trappers, man.
Little bro, what's up, little bro?
Y'all niggas know what the fuck going on. Yeah, you know what the fuck going on.
Y'all know the fuck we rocking, man. Period.
9-1 shit.
9-1 motor cracks, nigga. Y'all know what the fuck going on. All shit, murder gang shit.
With some money in the middle.
Fuck 5 gang, nigga. Breaking news gang.
Breaking news gang, nigga. We gon' whack you pussy ass. Whoa, man. Done Lee pay perk gang shit, man. Mark shit, man. No plug shit, little bitch. Get on the floor.
I don't like watching this shit, to be honest with you, man. I don't even like showing. You know, I know it's out there, but y'all gonna have to look at the video yourself. I don't like niggas telling their names and what they were doing at the time, because I know they're not doing it now, so, yeah, anyway.
Together, it was like my first solid body of work, you see what I'm saying? So that got me into the game, to seeing what the game could be, to where I started giving my own shows and shit. And I seen what was going on with the music. With part 2, it's just me coming along, just showing how I'm performing with this shit, how I'm taking this shit to the next level. So you
See, coming off the success of his biggest album, Life of a Hot Boy 1, Bankroll Fresh was officially one of the hottest rappers in Atlanta, no pun intended. You would also come to find out in plenty other interviews where he explains his come-up, which eventually led to him being tied in with the Allen Temple Bloods and the would soon-to-be PFK members in the 9 ever since he was a kid. Yeah, Atlanta's that small. And with that, you would come to find out that a lot of the biggest rappers here knew each other as kids or simply before they even began rapping.
That's a fact.
However, as buzzing as Bankroll Fresh was beginning to gain amongst the city's biggest gangsters, even being allowed to shoot his breakout single in one of the most dangerous hoods, his hot boy mentality would be just of that which what would have eventually got him killed by that same hood. Sadly, leading up to Bankroll Fresh's death, there seemed to be unresolved personal conflicts between Fresh and other PFK members, and it suddenly escalated when Bankroll Fresh and his crew were handing out gifts to the kids in the Temp and the 9. Long story short, some 3L members weren't fond of Fresh showing up in their hood and handing out gifts, especially considering he wasn't even from there. In fact, the person who was accused of killing Bankroll Fresh from the 3L crew would be no one other than No Plug himself, with this heartbreaking incident being that of what would put him on the map in the music scene. In an extensive interview
DJ Vlad, he always there.
With Vlad TV, No Plug goes into detail about the events that led up to Bankroll Fresh's death and what happened that tragic.
Recently, there was a situation. There was a shooting And I remember your name was connected to it, but we didn't really have all the information, so we ended up not reporting it. So let's talk about the whole situation kind of from beginning to where we are right now. Now, you and Bankroll Fresh were friends.
And I remember when this happened, like the word on the street was, on No Plug. It wasn't no talk about 21 Savage at the time. It was just strictly No Plug. And we all thought they was finna come pick Plug up, you know what I'm saying? But it turns out, like, the next time we seen Plug, me and my people anyway, was right here on Vlad TV. That was the next time we seen Plug.
Since you were kids?
Yeah.
Okay, so explain that.
Like explain our friendship?
Yeah, like when did y'all meet and how close was the friendship?
Okay, well we met like when we was probably like 10 or 12, some shit like that, you know what I'm saying? Like we was tight, we always been tight, you know what I'm saying? Like he was my boy, that was my boy, you know what I'm saying? Like our friendship always been good, you know what I'm saying? Until like a certain level of his career came about, you know what I'm saying?
Okay, and what happened at that point?
Well, it was just a lot going on. We'll, like, if I see him, you know what I'm saying, we'll speak, but I was never, like, with him, like, when he first started rapping, like, got out there, I was never around, you know what I'm saying? I was always on the block. So when I see him, I speak to him, you know what I'm saying? But I'm not just going to pulling up on him and all that, you know what I'm saying? But when I see him, we kick, you know what I'm saying? We kick shit.
Okay, and you're from the 9th Ward?
I'm from Allen Temple, but yeah, I'm 9th Ward, mate, yeah.
You guys were friends up to a certain point. His career started going a certain type of way, and you guys kind of just drifted your own separate ways?
Yeah, some shit like that, yeah.
Okay, so late last year in 2015, there was a turkey drive, and there was some sort of altercation that happened?
Yeah. Yeah, we just, like, my little cuz, Skate, he ain't play no parts in none, you know what I'm saying? He always played both sides, you feel me? He was passing out toys already, or food, whatever they was passing out. So he was in the 9. Fresh, he was already in the 10th, had already passed out everything, you know what I'm saying? So Skate, he's passing out everything, then I guess Fresh called him and tell him he finna pull in the 9. You know what I'm saying? So he just pulled in the 9, you know what I'm saying? So we was like, we ain't really fucking with you like that, you feel me? So he just got escorted out. Like, he didn't get robbed. He didn't, like, I wasn't gonna let none of that type shit happen, you know what I'm saying? Cause he's still my boy. He was still my boy, you feel me? But we just, like, we just went seeing eye to eye, you feel me? So we just escorted him out the 9, you know what I'm saying? Like, he just rolled out and Skate continued doing what he was doing, you know what I'm saying?
So Bankroll Fresh was basically giving out toys or whatever.
He was
else.
giving out toys in Allen Temple. And Skate, Schoolie, he was giving out toys in the 9. You know what I'm saying? Fresh tried to come to the 9 after everything he had passed out everything, you feel me? To the little kids and shit. Yeah, so we just wouldn't know, you ain't finna just come in our hood and just, you know what I'm saying? Cause we let him shoot the Hot Boy video.
This happened while you trying to give out toys to the kids? Damn.
And every day to the 9, I'm giving them weed to smoke, you feel me? I would never know hatred shit, you know what I'm saying? Like, niggas that know me and him, everybody know him really know me. They know I've been having my way, you feel me? Like, I've been having my way ever since high school, so, you know what I'm saying? Like, everything always been good, but at a certain point, he just, females he was talking to who I hadn't already ran through, like, it was jealousy, all kind of stuff, bro.
Whatever happened to No Plug? Anybody know? Like, I ain't seen him nowhere in the city. Like, I ain't heard nothing about him. I ain't heard no music from him. I ain't seen him around 21. Ever since 21 blew up, like, I hadn't seen much of No Plug. Comment in the chat. Let me know, where's No Plug? Anybody seen him? I would love to see what, any updates or what he got going on, man.
Like, I couldn't believe him.
Now, Bankroll Fresh understandably wasn't feeling this, probably feeling somewhat betrayed by the very same crew that helped put him on. And from this minor incident, Fresh began holding personal grudges against PFK members, including No Plug. Because shortly after Fresh was kicked out the 9, he would be visiting the Street Execs recording studio with a dozen of his crew on March 4th of 2016. Things were seemingly chill at first until No Plug pulled up to the studio with multiple notable 3L and mob members, while an entourage of Bankroll Fresh's crew were present, probably causing Fresh to feel invincible. Because what happened next was a situation that could have totally been avoided. Bankroll Fresh allegedly went up to No Plug, attempting to check him about letting his goons kick him out the 9. No Plug apparently tried to de-escalate the situation, understandably considering how deep Fresh was, until Fresh would allegedly snub No Plug across his forehead, causing a full-on fight to break out. Both crews would eventually break up the tussling and No Plug would leave the studio and go back to his car, and upon realizing he had left his phone, he would enter the studio again only to be met by Bankroll Fresh and his goons with their guns out. They weren't going to let him get his stuff. No Plug then left again and got back in the car, and upon entering, Bankroll Fresh would exit the studio too, aiming his weapon at No Plug and the PFK nigga's car. Whether it was for intimidation or Bankroll Fresh was really on that night, he would make his last fatal mistake when he apparently began shooting at the vehicle. PFK members would return fire, striking Bankroll Fresh numerous times. Now Bankroll Fresh would initially survive the shooting at the scene, his crew dragging his limp body to their car and driving off to the Hugh Spalding Children's Hospital, where he would have then tragically succumbed his injuries, passing away from the wound that struck his abdomen. Bankroll Fresh's death would shock the entire city.
He bled to death out of his stomach, man.
Not so much. You see, when Bankroll Fresh was killed, not much information about the incident was known, much except No Plug and his affiliates were involved, and it was a shootout. No Plug would eventually get picked up for the murder, but all charges were eventually dropped, and Fresh's death was ruled as self-defense.
Are you really the last person to find out?
Straight self-defense, a whole self-defense charge. And that's because Bank Fresh pointed the gun first. That's why it was self-defense. Bankroll Fresh pointed the gun first, and he didn't hit. Matter of fact, he shot first. That's what they just said. He didn't hit a target, so they shot back. Self-defense. That's the law.
Earlier, this would also be the incident that would spiral No Plug's notoriety and career in the long run, and he couldn't escape the Bankroll Fresh questions. However, I'll let you
Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button, man, and the notification button, man. Hit your boy on the cash out too. I need that, y'all.
Little altercation that happened in the 9th Ward.
Yeah.
Where he was asked to leave.
Yeah.
That area. So, from that time to the studio, had you guys seen each other at all?
Nah, we didn't see each other. That was our first time probably seeing each other at the studio, yeah, that night.
Okay, so how did you end up in that studio?
I was on the way to South Carolina, pass out CDs and shit with Lil Cuz. He had a show in South Carolina, so I was gonna go tag along with him just to pass my shit out, you know what I'm saying? Just put my shit on the windows and shit, so he told me to meet him up there. So I met him up there, we went in the building and shit like that.
Okay, so you go into the studio, and then what happens?
Shit, I go to the studio, I'm on FaceTime with one of my hoes, you know what I'm saying? So I'm just chilling, and goddamn like 5 to 10 minutes of me being in there, he approached me from behind, you know what I'm saying? First thing he said was like, damn bro, why you let them put me out the 9? You know what I'm saying? I'm like, bro, that shit old, bro, I don't wanna hear about that shit, bro. Just keep on rapping, bro, just goddamn don't do your thing, you feel me? So he was just so stuck on that old situation, you know what I'm saying? They said his female friend came straight, told him I was down there, and she seen me come in, you know what I'm saying? So they said she told him, relayed the message, he came straight down, approached me with the situation.
So Bankroll Fresh girl got him knocked off? Because if she hadn't said nothing, he probably wouldn't have went down. She probably put the battery in his back. No cap. She done put the battery in Bankroll Fresh back, man. That's crazy. Who is this young female? We need to know.
Okay, so he approached you. He's still upset about the 9th Ward situation.
Yeah.
What happened next?
Well, he was talking a lot of shit, and I was like, bro, I ain't trying to hear that shit. So I turned around I was finna leave. He tried to mush me. When he tried to mush me, I just grabbed him, you know what I'm saying? Like grabbed him and we tussled, we fell down the steps. And our childhood friend, C-Note, he broke the shit up, you know what I'm saying, like ASAP, you know what I'm saying, like we didn't throw no punches, none of that type shit, like it was just a straight, he tried to mush me, I grab him, we fall down the steps, the altercation's over with, you feel me?
Okay, and then what?
I'm finna leave the studio, actually, I was leaving, cause this shit was so fucked up, I was like, bro, you don't fucked up, you don't try me in front of all these folks, like, you know what I'm saying, like shit gonna get, you know what I'm saying, so boom, boom. I'm finna leave, so I leave the studio, but I check my pockets. So I guess when we fell down the steps, I dropped both of my phones inside the studio. So I pulled back up to the studio, you know what I'm saying? I pulled back up to the studio to get the cell phones. When I pulled back up to the studio to get the cell phones, he came back out with like, probably like 10, 15 niggas, you know what I'm saying? All of them had guns, he had a stick, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, come on, bro. Why the hell do you got a stick for? You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, it ain't even that kind of situation. You know what I'm saying? He know I would never like just harm him like that, you feel me? Because I know his mama. I ain't even trying to be looking at his mama like, damn, mom, dude. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's why I'm glad she just got some information about the situation. You know what I'm saying? She ain't just really cold-hearted against me, you know what I'm saying? Because she know, goddamn, I wouldn't never on no hatred shit. The situation, he caused the situation to happen. You know what I'm saying? He came out with this gun and shit happened. You know what I'm saying? When he came out playing with the shit, like just playing with the shit, he fired a shot and shit happened. We pulled off, he ended up dead. And that simple the shit was, like, the shit was that simple. Like, he pulled the gun, shot the motherfucker, couple shots got fired back, he got hit, I leave. Next thing you know, folks calling me saying Fresh dead, you know what I'm saying? I call my lawyer, Ash Joseph, Gucci Man lawyer, give him $10,000, go down to the homicide, tell Miss Benton everything, and shit, everything was great.
Now me personally, I just don't buy into the idea of Bankroll Fresh just being so front and violent to No Plug for a minor incident that happened months ago, especially considering No Plug's crew is the very own crew that helped him blow up.
What you mean, you personally? Who are you? Like, who are you? Whose channel is this, man? Trap TV, who channel is this? Who are you? Where you getting your information from, my boy?
However, I didn't know him, and personally I dig into the idea that a lot of his close friends and affiliates were low-key envy of his success. Because not only in the video do you see Fresh's crew seemingly hesitate to shoot back once they've realized who's in the car, but you can also take it from Fresh's own cousin, Street Money Bucci, who'll tell you that a lot of people who bankroll Fresh looked at as his partners were the same ones who were laughing and joking about the entire situation.
His outcome to turn out how it did, it don't sit well with me. Of course. And after the fact don't sit well with me.
Dig it. You said after.
Because it's like a lot of people was happy.
I dig it.
A lot of people was happy.
You said a lot of people was happy?
Yeah.
Happy?
Right, but they wouldn't show the world that.
Huh. I would like to dive deeper. You said a lot of people was happy.
Happy.
A lot of people was happy.
You talking about haters though, not.
Not only in the video do you see Fresh's crew seemingly hesitate to shoot back once they've realized who's in the car, but you can also take it from Fresh's own cousin, Street Money Bucci, who'll tell you that a lot of people who bankroll Fresh looked at as his partners were the same ones who were laughing and joking about the entire situation.
His outcome to turn out how it did, it don't sit well with me.
Of course.
And after the fact don't sit well with me.
Dig it. You said after.
Because it's like a lot of people was happy.
I dig it.
A lot of people was happy.
You said a lot of people was happy?
Yeah.
Happy?
Right, but they wouldn't show the world that.
Huh. I would like to dive deeper. You said a lot of people was happy.
A lot of people was happy.
You talking about haters though, not in a circle.
You can't even, I mean, you can call them haters once everything played out. But it was once upon a time, they was the same people who love, smiled in your face.
Right.
These the same people who you loved and who you will go over the back for.
Right.
And I should have seen it.
So
when I was with him, but I let him enjoy himself more than what I probably should have.
And not only were his friends ridiculing his tragic passing, but a video would release shortly after the shooting of 21 Savage and No Plug on stage laughing about the situation. No
I remember that.
Plug was performing, and Savage could be heard telling No Plug to let the people know you killed Bankroll Fresh, with No Plug laughing hysterically once hearing this, telling Savage, "Hell nah, I'm not saying that." And even in Savage's Vlad TV interview, Savage exclaims that everyone tried to paint No Plug a hater after what happened to Bankroll Fresh.
We know that options can be
Wow. So, man, this is, I don't know what to say, man, but like I said, man, this is the police putting all this information out there. For what reason, I don't know, because we only halfway through right now. So make sure you hit the like, subscribe button, notification button, man. Listen, Shed Alive, man. Hit your boy on the cash out, because I need that. I need that right now. Yeah, let's go. So we can do this every day.
Whole situation.
Man, my point of view, man, I really feel like they tried to paint a bad picture on my brother and try to make him look like he was a hater. It was some envy, jealousy type shit, you know what I'm saying?
In that video of No Plug and Savage on stage dissing Bankroll Fresh, in the middle between the two is no one other than Marlo, who could be seen laughing with them. Now the shooter behind the incident is somewhat obscure and argued upon until this Bankroll Fresh's crew was to firing back at the shooters. Well, it is a common argument that in that car full of PFK members, Marlo is suggested to have been there, with even some insane theories hinting at
That's crazy. Like, I ain't know that.
Marlo being the possible gunman and not No Plug.
If it's true, this is all alleged. I don't know if this is true or not, but that's crazy for them to put this information like that out there.
However, many people believe that either of them were the shooters, and a notable PFK member from the 9 that goes by Blue Eyes, or simply Blue, was actually the shooter. But there's not evidence for any of that. Now, upon seeing who was in that car...
How you know ain't no evidence? How you know?
Undeniably some of the most notorious gangsters in the city, Bankroll Fresh's crew would have directly chosen to go to war and perhaps sign a death wish if they proceeded to hit one of the richest and most dangerous crews in the city. In the case of Bankroll Fresh, morals were weaker than their loyalty, and the 9th Ward gangsters were more important than their day one. This just goes on to show you the fearful reputation 4L, PFK, and Mob had all garnered during this time. However, not much has come out since his death, and Bankroll Fresh's killers are seemingly living their best lives far past this incident, questioning if his friends and family really ever did care enough to seek revenge. Nevertheless, we begin hearing more news about Fresh after his death 2 years later, sadly in another tragedy, because on July 2nd of 2018, Bankroll Fresh's cousin and her aunt were targeted in a drive-by shooting, raising the questions for if Bankroll Fresh's family actually retaliated, with his family being targeted in response. But whatever the case is, it doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, a beloved father, a beloved son, was taken away over ignorance in a violent cycle that now had his family dodging bullets, and whether Bankroll Fresh was removed from the 9 or not, it would indeed not even matter now as the 9 started to catch the attention of the APD. Its residents not knowing that the hood would be boarded up not even 3 years later, meeting the same inevitable fate as Marlo's old hood.
Yeah, man. This is a sad situation, but damn, that's crazy, man. The death of Lil Marlo. But hey, man, it's a lot that happened during this time, man. Y'all go check out the video. It's on YouTube. Like I said, I think this is the police page, Trap TV. Just my opinion. I'm sorry, just my opinion. You know, I'm sorry. So y'all go check out Trap TV. Like I said, this video got 132 views on it, and let me know if you like the content, man. If you like the content, first of all, don't forget to like, subscribe, share the live. You know, hit the notification bell, hit my cash out because I need that. Yeah, I need that. Yeah, and you know, and just let me know in the comments, man, if you like the content, and I'll do more of these. You know, if you like it, because man, trust me, it's a lot of these I could do. So any requests out there, let me know. And any city, it don't matter. I can find these videos, and we'll do some commentary on all of them. And yeah, you know, I can make this thing on the Leylo show. I already got my my interviews. I got new interviews coming up, man. This is a Leylo show, man. And we gonna discontinue this live, but I will be back. I'll be back later. So make sure you subscribe, hit the notification button. I'm telling you, I ain't gonna keep repeating myself. You hit that notification button. It's ATL on the map, the east side on the map, man. We finna crank up this this journalism thing up in Atlanta, man, because I heard somebody say, man, ain't nobody really popping in Atlanta when it comes to this journalism thing. You know, I could have been did it, but I ain't want to do it like everybody else doing it. You know, I want to do mine a little bit different, so I think I got it together, man. Like, if you like the content, man, like I said, let me know in the comments. Let me know what you know, what other situations you may want me to cover. You know, I read every comment. I read all the messages. You know, like I said, like, subscribe. It's